Welcome to our continuing journey into and through Celtic theology. In this discussion, we're going to dig even more into this aspect of theology as a journey, talking about travel, tribulation. Now, this is going to be a change of pace because as I considered the readings, as I considered the discussions, and as I considered really the space we are in this quarter, I decided to use this time set aside for lecture for another purpose altogether. So this week, rather than a regular lecture, but not adding more to your time or more assignments, I'm giving over this lecture time to you for some directed reflection. So this discussion this week is inward and it's personal. It's meant for you to engage with the Holy Spirit and for the Holy Spirit to have some space in your thoughts and your ideas and your journey. So many of us have so many different stories going on in our lives that we don't ever stop. And the memories of the past, they get bogged up and we can start getting a negative perspective, or we can start just getting a rosy perspective. And yet, as we know from the Celtic theology, especially the story Brendan, the navigator, we know that this journey through life has trials, it has tribulations, it has struggles, but it also has hopes, has victories, it has possibilities. So this week, I'm asking you to take 1 hour of quiet space. So the hour you would usually use for lecture. Take some quiet space away from people as much as you can, away from noise. If it has to be late at night or early in the morning, I encourage it, a time for you to sit with your thoughts. And in this time, start by thinking about and then choosing 7 major islands in your journey through your life so far. Now, you don't have to justify these. You don't have to somehow go through every event and mark, what are the 7 islands that come to mind? If you think of 5, think of 2 more. Fill out 7. These could be major steps or accomplishments. These are milestones in your life or big events that shaped your sense of self and calling. Maybe not something that anyone around you may have seen at the time, but you look back and say, wow, this was a big turning point, or a traumatic moment that changed your journey from where it was headed before to another direction. Or it could be anything. I'm not saying it has to be like this or has to be this. You get to choose these major islands, a conversion moment, just simply a time in which you caught your breath and it helped you think in new ways. Pick 7 of anything that you would say is an island on your journey through life. And with this, in each of those islands, and I encourage you to write these down, consider the companions you had, if any, at that time with each island. Did you have certain people who journeyed with you specifically through that time? Maybe you've had shared companions through most of your journeys, but maybe there have been certain people who really stood out in shaping each moment. And if you didn't have someone at that point, and I know I've had seasons where it was very, very private and personal, almost hermit-like, even though I was around people, the experience was almost like a hermit because it was so much just me. That's fine too. Again, there's no rules here. This is simply a way to help orient your thoughts about your life as a journey, with God and the Spirit. To reflect on each of these islands. Write a few lines then of prayer and poetry or reflection on each from your heart. You don't have to justify it. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to say, wow, this has to be profound, or wow, I hope this has to be impressive. You can feel free to share these, or you cannot. This is not an assignment you have to submit. This is me inviting you into a different kind of lecture space where I'm not the lecturer. The Holy Spirit is. So for each of the islands, compose a prayer, some poetry, reflection, whatever you want to do. Just make some kind of thought that connects to each. You can give each island a title, like we see in the story. Give a title, Add some thoughts, move on to the next one. Then pray over these islands and your own journey for the remainder of the hour. So how much ever time you have left having done that, just spend time praying through these. Bonus, and this is an assignment, so I'm just like, if you want to do this, I think it might be an interesting idea. Draw a map of these islands. And in this way, draw a map that turns your life journey, the story that you have, into some kind of visual representation. Where would the islands be in relation to each other? What would some islands might be these wonderful beach with, you have a drink in hand and a palm tree. Others might be this volcanic island with rocks and, lava pouring out. Draw a simple visualization. And in all of this, the goal is to invite your imagination, your prayers, your creativity into your own reflection, so that as you think about your life journey and big steps, whether they were good or bad, you don't go into them with the attitude that the world brings, that sometimes our own emotions or our own brokenness or our own blindness might bring. But instead, you invite the Spirit to speak into your life, so that whether in hardship or in favor, you experience a hope in what Christ is doing. Knowledge that he has used all these events in steering you onward into your journey forward to whatever is next. And I truly believe, because I've read your writings now, each of you are genuinely called into speaking into the lives of others around you, resonating this work of the Spirit. So this is just a way to gather your thoughts and orient them with the Spirit's discernment. Let us journey into this path. And I would love to read these or hear some thoughts about these. I'm trying this out, but don't feel any pressure if you feel like this is just a personal experience. God be with you. Christ be around you. Spirit flow within you, so that you feel the bounty of God's love.